He'll be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in future. There will be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name.
When J.K. Rowling first wrote these words in the opening pages of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, she never, in her wildest dreams, thought they'd come true. Harry Potter has become the biggest publishing success the world has ever seen. Since 1997, more than 135 million copies have been sold in 48 different languages. Only the Bible has more translations. Every 30 seconds, someone somewhere in the world begins a Harry Potter story.
I think I would have been clinically insane to have expected what's happened. Who could have predicted this? No one knew, and I certainly didn't.
Just a few years ago, J.K. Rowling was broke and jobless, a single mother who spent her afternoons writing in Edinburgh coffee shops while her baby slept. Today, she is rich and famous, the most popular children's author on the planet.
'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft.
The Potter books she created have all been international bestsellers, and the first Harry Potter movie was a blockbuster success. Her legions of fans are desperate for the next installment of the boy wizard's adventures. But it's J.K. Rowling's story that is the most amazing of all. Only now has she agreed to tell it in her own words.
A lot of rubbish has been written. Not necessarily malicious rubbish, but things get exaggerated and distorted. And I just thought maybe the moment has come just to say how it happened, truthfully, and then I can at least go easy to my bed and think, well, the truth's out there, and people can take it or leave it.
Harry's arrival on the doorstep of his Muggle or non-magic relatives, the Dursleys, is the start of an epic journey. Harry grows up thinking he's just an ordinary boy, until he finds out that in the wizard world his name is legendary, and he's destined to attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Then Harry's adventures really begin as he and his classmates Hermione and Ron battle with the dark forces of magic. A story J.K. Rowling has meticulously planned to tell over 7 books, one for each school year.
Wow.
It was a journey that began back in 1990.
I was going by train from Manchester to London, sitting there thinking of nothing to do with writing, and the idea came out of nowhere. I could see Harry very clearly, this scrawny little boy, and it was the most physical rush of excitement. I'd never felt that excited about anything to do with writing. I'd never had an idea that gave me such a physical response. So I'm rummaging through this bag to try and find a pen or a pencil or anything. I didn't even have an eyeliner on me, so I just had to sit and think. And for 4 hours, because the train was delayed, I had all these ideas bubbling up through my head.
Harry was small and skinny, with brilliant green eyes and jet black hair that was always untidy. He wore round glasses, and on his forehead was a thin, lightning-shaped scar.
I can't describe the excitement to someone who doesn't write books, except to say it was that incredibly elated feeling you get when you've just met someone with whom you might eventually fall in love. That was the kind of feeling I had getting off the train, as though I'd just met someone wonderful and we were about to embark on this wonderful affair. That kind of elation, that light-headedness and the excitement. And so I got back to my flat in Clapham Junction and started writing. And I've now been writing for 10 years, so it's been a good affair.
For me, King's Cross is a very, very romantic place. Probably the most romantic station, purely because my parents met here. So that's always been part of my childhood folklore. My dad had just joined the Navy, my mum had just joined the Wrens. They were both travelling up to Arbroath in Scotland from London, and they met on the train pulling out of King's Cross. So I wanted Harry to go to Hogwarts by train. I just love trains. I'm a bit nerdy like that. And obviously, therefore, it had to be King's Cross.
Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me where I might find platform 9 3/4?
9 3/4? Think you're being funny, do ya?
Like a lot in the Harry Potter books, it was reality with a twist. I wanted to find another entrance to the magical world, but I didn't want a kind of time warp thing. I like the entrances to be places that you can only find if you have the knowledge. So anyone who ran at the barrier with enough confidence would be able to break through onto this platform between platform 9 and platform 10.
Best do it at a bit of a run if you're nervous. Good luck.
I wrote platform 9 3/4 when I was living in Manchester, and I wrongly visualised the platforms, and I was actually thinking of Euston. So anyone who's actually been to the real platforms 9 and 10 in King's Cross will realise they don't bear a great resemblance to the platforms 9 and 10 as described in the book. So that's just me coming clean there. I was in Manchester, I couldn't check.
It was 5 years from the train journey where I had the original idea to finishing the book. And during those 5 years, this mass of material was generated, some of which will never find its way into the book, will never need to be in the books. It's just stuff I need to know for my own pleasure, partly for my own pleasure and partly because I like reading a book where I have the sense that the author knows everything. They might not be telling me everything, but you have that confidence that the author really knows everything. Okay, so this is, to the untrained eye, might look like a pile of waste paper, but this is 10 years' work. As you can see, I file meticulously, and I know where every single piece of paper is. But I've dragged out a few bits and pieces. So this is the name of everyone in Harry's year. And all these little symbols mean what house they're in, how magical they are, what their parentage is, because I needed this later for the Death Eaters and so on, and the various allegiances that would be set up within the school. I like this. This was 98, and this was me trying to find words for the Dementors. So I have all these Latin words written all over the inside of my diary. I used to cover just about anything that was writing, as you can see. This is my application for housing benefit in 28 Gardens Crescent, which is where the first place I lived, obviously, when I was in Edinburgh. Treated with a complete lack of respect by me. Discarded first chapters of book 1. I reckon I must have got through 15 different alternative chapters of book 1. The reason for which I discarded each of them were they all gave too much away. And in fact, if you put all those discarded first chapters together, almost the whole plot is explained. This is an old notebook in which I worked out, and again, I don't want you to come too close on this. That is the history of the Death Eaters. Where's my Portuguese diary gone? There it is. So this is a Portuguese diary, as you can see, not filled in, because I've never filled in a diary in my life, but it had paper in it to write on, so we have another draft, book 1, chapter 1.